Shalom, la b'chayarim shal yasha'ala. Peace be to the elect of the nation of Israel, which the elect of the nation of Israel consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Those that have been elected are chosen before the foundation of the earth to receive the Tawah, which is the mark of exemption from the coming judgment, which is imminent. The 144,000 Hanabayayim, the prophets, all called Ayashim, all men of the 12 tribes of Israel, and of course the rest of the innumerable multitude of Ayashim wa Ashayim wa Bunyam, that's men, women, and children, which will believe in the words which the prophet shall speak and receive their salvation by, of course, Yahweh choosing and ordaining them and giving them unto Yahweh Shai. To you I say Shalom wa Kahalayim la Allahayana Yahweh Bashem El Shai Bashem Kodash. All praises to our power, which our power, the God of Israel. The power of Israel is Yahweh. His name is Yahweh in the Paleo Hebrew and the Lashwan Kodash, which is the holy tongue, which means he is and he exists. Yahweh Shai Bahashem. Alright, Bahashem meaning in the name Yahweh Shai, because we come, of course, in the name of Yahweh Shai, the mediator between the nation of Israel and the Father. Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Most High, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Yahweh Shai means he the deliverer, or he the savior, or he salvation. You have, of course, Bahashem, in the name Racha Kodash is the Holy Spirit, or Spirit, Holy Spirit. Racha meaning Spirit, and Kodash is holy, which are in the Paleo Hebrew, and the Lashwan Kodash, the holy tongue. Of course, double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who were well. Shini Kabbalah Shal Yachim Nawa was a Konyam Nawa Shal Yasha Allah. Godwala Rakab Ba'aith. Double honors to our apostles and our elders of Israel, which are at Great Millstone in these times. And peace and salutation. Shalom wa chesed. I'm going to say peace and mercy to the B'chayarim, the election of the nation of Israel. Shalom. Yasha Allah. Of course, Shem Yah Mahpa. My name is Mahpa from the Great Millstone Plaintables Camp, located here in the city of Philadelphia. Coming with a wee lesson going into a Brexit update, which I'm going to cover in brief, because as you can see, Esau Edom's his captivity, his rulership is coming down, and these prophecies are speaking, as it says in the book of Habakkuk. They shall speak and they shall not lie. And this whole bloody shambles with the Brexit, the British leaving the EU, the European Union, okay, which this is a fulfillment of the book of Daniel's, the second chapter, starting around about 43, which we'll cover in brief. It's a fulfillment of this happening, and Achim should, of course, get into this prophecy. Of course, hopefully this lesson is edifying to you. So you have, of course, if you haven't been following, you have British leaving the EU, okay, which there was of course, a vote back in 2016, which in that year referendum, you had, of course, the people so-called voted to leave the EU, and then, of course, you had this period of time since 2016 to I thought now, or the new, you have the negotiation process, which through this whole process we've seen many MPs step down, or members of parliament. We've had other members within parliament in general step down, and we had, of course, people leave their parties and form new parties, and of course change sides. You've had, of course, a change within the actual heat or the head of Ra'ash of government, being the Prime Minister in the UK or United Kingdom. Theresa May stepped down after coming to the UK Parliament, House of Commons, with a deal, and they voted it down 3 times. okay, in which this is a deal with the exit of the Great Britain out the European Union, and various different things with the European Union with that whole withdrawal agreement, in which you have it where the various parties, Labour, whether it's Labour, the Conservative Party, whether it's the SNP, which is Scottish National Party, you have of course DUP, Democratic Unionist Party, and I believe that's in Northern Ireland, and you have other independent parties and such. Okay, you have the Lib Dems. Okay, and this gets a bit vast, but the end game is that they kind of come to agreement, and there's been another through this whole thing, as I mentioned, a step down of the former Prime Minister, which is Theresa May, which she's a woman. You had her successor, which was Boris Johnson, a conservative, who brought or came to an actual agreement with the EU, okay, the European Union, which, as we know, that European Union is the 10 toes written in Daniel's, also the 10 horns, which you read in the book of Revelation. Okay, you have it where they came to an agreement, which that will be the actual UK negotiators with the EU negotiators, and of course the EU Parliament came in agreement with the deal, okay, with the UK. Now at this point in time, you have it where they have to pass that through their own house in the UK, a Parliament, a deal, and that ultimately will seal the whole withdrawal agreement. But the new there's supposed to be an actual vote on today about that, which they're voting on that deal, and they didn't have it at all. You know, they have it, which we're gonna go into. They actually end up going through with the amendment about this. You go into the Ben Letwin Act, which that, of course, was an act that was passed by, of course, Parliament to force the Prime Minister to go for an extension. If they, of course, you have it with the House of Parliament, and that's the extension letter to the EU, for them to have even more time to negotiate a deal and pass it with. Well, actually, the deal's already negotiated, but you have it where the all of these various parliamentary members within the UK government, they kind of come to an agreement. Okay, so you have, of course, more just stagnation, more division, more waiting, but we know this whole ordeal is going to come to a close when Yahweh Shem Yahushai, of course, makes this whole thing crash out, whether it's with a deal or without. Okay, which Yahweh Ratzazai be no deal. They have, of course, back in March of the 29th, they're supposed to come to a deal. They didn't come to a deal. The House of Commons didn't, of course, pass the bill which Theresa May, the previous Prime Minister who stepped down, had presented. So they have another extension, which is currently to the date of October the 31st, which, as we go into it, you have it. We got a week countdown, which I got this Sky News, one of the major networks in the UK. 12 days, 11 hours, 10 minutes, 48 seconds until, of course, this actual deadline, right? So I know that was a lot of information, which I covered, and just to go into it, I just want to give you, just so that you can kind of know. And I did a lesson this week, a couple of days ago, about the process when, of course, Boris Johnson and the EU came to an agreement, and you had I believe the European see, Jean-Claude Juncker, and that's what the European Commission, if I'm not mistaken. He, of course, said that they didn't want any prolongation, okay, meaning any extensions, all right, beyond, obviously, the date of the October the 31st. They want, of course, this deal, since it was already passed by their, of course, on their end, the European Union, to go through on their end, I mean, the actual UK government, okay, but there's a lot of issues, that are conflicting, which the Lord is orchestrating, ultimately working on the minds of kings. Okay, so we're gonna get into this Ben Letwin Act, just so you can know this actual legal document. And this, of course, is okay, a bit technical. I'm just gonna cover just it in brief. Okay, so today was called Super Saturday. With me, I actually was waking up to see whether they was gonna pass this and say, hey, we kind of come to an agreement. So then, of course, you have it. That's just it struck down. And then it's a whole bloody shambles with with them literally probably, crashing up with no deal. But these, of course, these different ministers and stuff, different parties and such, they passed this little law, just to stagnate things, basically. So he says Super Saturday, Brexit amendments MPs are voting on, and this vote already happened. Okay, so it says what MPs are voting on today. It says MPs or members of Parliament are packed at a timetable of Super Saturday for the first time in Commons have met since 1982. So this isn't a common, all right, for them to be on this timetable Saturday, and so holding it. It says the Speaker John Barker has selected 2 amendments from the MPs trying to change and shape the amend Boris Johnson's Brexit deal, which is being presented as a motion of approval. It says here the Letwin amendment. So they were supposed to vote on basically this whole agreement on if they're gonna agree with the actual Brexit deal, which Boris Johnson got passed by the EU. They didn't do that at all. That's been basically postponed. They ended up doing this amendment on the Letwin, amendment, which it has here, which it just says, which I basically explained it in brief. Basically, just make the actual government, or really Boris Johnson, Prime Minister, or somebody, ask for actual extension if they kind of come to a deal, meaning the UK Parliament. Okay, which that's basically they didn't vote, but that's what's happening. It says the rebel MP Sir Oliver Letwin, who lost the Conservative whip, sits as an independent after blocking a no-deal Brexit. And this is what some of their different members, they want just this pass this so that they can just hinder the whole no deal and such. That's why this basically has come about. Okay, because no deal is going to be catastrophic for the actual UK government. Okay, the whole European Union, it's also going to be catastrophic for the European Union, I must add too. But just speaking about Britain, and really Britain, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and that's Northern Ireland we're speaking of. Okay, it says has consistently tried to use parliamentary procedure to shape how the UK leaves the EU. His latest amendment would withhold approval of the Prime Minister's deal until legislation to enact it. The EU withdrawal bill is passed. This might happen next week. Passing the Letwin Amendment would trigger the Ben Act, it says, which compels Johnson to request an extension to Article 50. Okay, Article 50, that goes into the withdrawal agreement between, basically if the UK leaving the actual EU, okay, the European Union, okay, and the other 27 member states, which originally, say, go into this whole thing, which 28 would be with Britain, but they are trying to leave, or some want to leave and some don't. But this prophecy tells they're going to leave and such. That whole bloody shop, the whole union is gonna break apart. Because it's partly strong, partly weak. It's iron and mildly clay. Okay, so it says extension to Article 50 if a deal cannot be agreed. It says Letwin said that he supported Johnson's deal and was sensible. All right. It says that, but he wanted to make sure that there's insurance policy that if the Brexit deal is approved, but something goes wrong in the later stage of the government has an extension already in place, so there's no possible way the country can crash out with the deal. I already summed that up for you. It says the deadline in the Ben Act is 11 p.m. on Saturday. So, going on, it says, so this is an attempt to close down potential loophole. Alright, so, they go into this, the whole thing. You can read it on your own. I'll leave a wee description in the description box. So, let's pause this. Alright, let's go to this actual voting, which they did today, which they ended up doing this voting this amendment. All right, with all the members of Parliament, okay, and not on the whole rejecting or approving the actual deal, which that's what they should have did. That's what people were expecting, but they did this instead. Let's go into it just so you can see. Brexit delay again. MPs approve Letwin amendment. You have, of course, the numbers.
Order!
Go on, Boris. You'll have a feet.
The ayes to the right, 322.
Excuse the actual lag on the Wii computer and such. Of course, this is a condition of being in this captivity. Low computing power.
Those to the left, 306.
Thank you. The ayes to the right, 322. The noes to the left, 306. So the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Unlock. Order.
So that's basically it right there. And of course, had that whole 302, which was 22, and to actual 306. You have yay and you have the nay, yes or no. Okay, I believe it was like 16 is the majority or something. Let me just go into the next thing. Give me a wee moment. I'm gonna close this out. Alright, so going to zero hedge, my choice of information at this time right here. So as we went, MPs approved the Letwin amendment to the Brexit deal. This amendment delays approval of the Brexit deal until necessary legislation is passed. It says ayes are yay, aye like yes, aye, noes or nay, 306, the majority 16. Okay, which I showed you. Okay, so let's read. Historic Saturday session for UK Parliament, the first since the Falklands War. Today, British lawmakers were supposed to vote on Boris Johnson's Brexit deal, which was last week received approval from the EU. Okay, I believe that was on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, in which sent the pound soaring amid speculation of the Brexit deal was actually close to passing. That, of course, gave a bit of confidence because they see that maybe it's going to be a deal. There's a lot of people, corporate jobs and all the different companies is hanging in the balance of what actually occurs from this deal or no deal. What happens with this? Yeah, of course, the British having different various relations with the negotiated terms which they have passed with the EU, or if they're going to be compromised by not having a deal with the European Union. All right, and there's things that have been, of course, negotiated, passed with them, which is within the deal framework. You can check out on your own. I could do various lessons on that too. It changed by the day because you have it. Well, yeah, you have it. Boris Johnson, he made wee bit of changes with the whole backstop and stuff with Ireland and stuff. Because you have it where Northern Ireland, that is, I'm speaking of, they of course are a part of the Great Britain. But you have, of course, the Republic of Ireland is not a part of Great Britain, but they are part of the EU. And you have it where, there is no actual customs, actual physical border, which you have the various custom checks, coming in. All right, they don't want that because you have a thing with this whole Good Friday Agreement and this whole bloody shambles between the northern and the southern and such, which I can go in another lesson, but we're gonna go on. It's just a division, all division. But it says here that speculation that the Brexit deal was actually close to passing. Instead, the latest embarrassment to Johnson. Moments ago, UK lawmakers instead voted to put off the decision to the Prime Minister's deal, forcing him to ask the EU for another Brexit delay. That's, of course, due to that Ben Letwin amendment, okay, which they did the I for 32. Okay, so he is legally supposed to ask for it, but when you go into it, he actually has said that he isn't going to ask the EU for a actual delay. Okay, I have to see which article has that information, because I was watching it actually live. As this is what he said, this is actual statement. Boris on his feet. Johnson, that's the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. It says the Prime Minister says it is an important debate, an exceptional moment, but the meaningful vote has been to avoid it, meaning that by the Letwin Amendment, which withhold the backing of a deal until the legislation is passed. The best thing for the UK and the whole of Europe is for us to leave with a new deal on October the 31st, he adds. I will not negotiate a delay with the EU, and neither does the law compel me to do so. So he may have something that they of course make their own laws and break their own laws. He may have some wee bit of stipulation that he can get around or something, some loophole or something. Alright, so it says compel, the law compel or force or oblige someone to do something. I say in Scottish tongue. It says me to do so. It says I will tell the EU that further delay will be bad for this country. They keep doing these various delays. There's a lot of people want them to get on with it. You have some people want them to bring a second referendum, another, of course, a vote on them staying in the EU or leaving. Which some people, they're saying because they didn't understand the first, that actual referendum back in 2016, which triggered the whole Article 50, which that's for the UK, to leave the EU. They're saying they didn't know because they didn't know the different, the different deal, okay? On what grounds and such, okay? It's going to impact all of the different, the free movement, because basically Britain wants to be sovereign, and that's going to end free movement between those that are British nationals and living within the EU. It's, things are different now, all right, because they're leaving the EU. Okay, so there's other things with different people living in the EU, etc. It's all different. The corporate is so many different things. We have to go into another lesson. But going in further, it says here, I will tell you that that further delay will be bad for this country. He says, adding that next week the government will introduce the necessary legislation needed for Brexit. And 31st, with this deal, then the MPs, member parliament, it says, face the choice of a deal. He hopes it will change their minds and support this deal on overwhelming numbers. It says even Letwin said he will have supported the deal if it had gone to a vote. It says, I will continue to do today or do all I can to get Brexit done by October the 31st. All right, which, Lord willing, it be just a no deal Brexit. That's what I want. I want them to crash out without a deal and bring nothing but a bloody fucking shot wall or hell to the actual Great Britain and impact all of the different global markets, okay, global GDP, etc., etc. That's my opinion. Okay, so let's go into this more. Back here in the Zero Heat, it says here, it says the measure, also known as the Letwin Amendment, was proposed by Oliver Letwin. The MPs were booted out of the Conservative Party, Parliamentary Party, last month by Boris Johnson. So that's division. The scriptures talk of it, house being divided. Okay, I can get that precept. How can it stand? Yeah, let's see if I can get that again. This was in my other lesson. And it says here, this is Matthew 12:25, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house, divided against itself shall not stand. Okay, so it can't stand. You have, of course, these various these Edomites, okay, and within themselves they're against themselves. All right, the Lord set Egyptian against Egyptian. Okay, so which the modern day Egyptians are these Edomites. Okay, they have rule over you Israelites, whether you're in America or Britain, whether you're in Scotland or Wales, Northern Ireland, wherever the wicked are ruling, because the wicked, of course, have control of the earth, pursuant to the Job 9:24. Earth is given the hand of the wicked. He covered the judges. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. All right, roughly paraphrasing. If not who or where is he? Roughly paraphrasing. All right, so yeah, the host. These Edomites are divided amongst themselves. There's division, opposition. Okay, so it can't stand. It's going to be brought down. It's going to be brought down by the Lord. Okay, the Lord's going to bring it down by their own counsels. Okay, and put them out. All right, and going back, it says here that it says by Boris Johnson when he supported anti-no deal legislation, which is known as the Ben Act, the amendment which received support by the Northern Irish DUP, which is Democratic Unionist Party, in the last minute. And I must note, just so you know, if it doesn't cover it, they of course were against the actual deal which Boris Johnson got passed by the EU. They said they wouldn't, of course, support it, along with the SNP, Scottish National Party. Okay, they of course don't think it's good for their country's benefit. Okay, it says call it to the House withhold support from Johnson's plan until the legislation required to implement the bill pass Parliament as well. It says the DUP support and measure passed 322 to 306 effectively and freezing the Brexit process again, and Johnson is now legally obliged to request a Brexit extension from the EU. So that extension will be, if he were to actually ask them, it would have to be, after the whole 31st. He would have to ask the actual European Council, all right, and they have to, of course, then the European Council, they read all the rest of the 27 member states of whether they will grant them an extension, okay? And we've already, like I did the lesson the other day, what his name? I want to say John Claude Juncker, but Juncker, I'm gonna just leave it at that. He, of course, said that he doesn't want any prolongation, more of an extension. Okay, we have a deal, so they basically is leaving it into their hands, which is right now what they're dealing with, and they still just playing games. And the deadline, they're coming up on the deadline. So it says, having just to come back from Europe, ostensibly with a deal in tow, in Belgium, saying no more delays. Okay, so Belgium is another EU. Okay, right there, Belgium, saying no more delays are feasible. Boris Johnson will now have once again to ask the EU for a delay of the Brexit process. So perhaps not surprisingly, defiant Johnson has struck back, refusing to comply, as I had showed you in the other statement. I actually gave you a statement in which the latest parliamentary votes in the Prime Minister's office is saying the Parliament has voted to delay Brexit yet again, and he will not ask for an extension. He will tell the EU members no delays. Okay. Now that's basically, that's it right there. Now you have it. There's word that they're gonna vote possibly on the whole thing. Being the UK Parliament on the deal on Monday. Okay, but we'll see. I don't trust these devils. Okay, at all. And at this current time, at the whole time where they was doing this, you had a protest outside, okay, out there in the UK, and many people was out there. Okay, crowds. They said it's estimated roughly about 1 million people. That's what they say, or hundreds of thousands, whatever Esau is talking about. Okay, protest to reenact Letwin. And also, they, a lot of people, they saying, a lot of their people, when I see, they got EU flags and such. So a lot of them are Remainers are staying within the EU, or no leaving the EU. Okay, but as we go into biblical prophecy, the EU is going to break apart. All right. You have it where even the SNP, the Scottish National Party, all right, they want to, if they were to get it, they would want to leave and be independent, okay, because Scotland is a part of the actual Great Britain, all right, being a part of the actual United Kingdom, okay, but they still have to comply by what the actual UK's, the United Kingdom goes with, because they're part of the UK. All right, they kind of act on their own, okay. And then you have it, like I say, ultimately, the reason why you have it where Britain wants to leave, because they want to be able to strike their own trade deals, etc., be sovereign, and they be, of course, subordinates to the actual EU. Okay, because being you're under EU, you gotta go by what different things pass with the European, okay, commissions and such, okay, instead of just you having your own sovereign government, and you doing everything on your own, just to put in wee bit of words, all right, our debarium, my words, little in Hebrew, as I said. Let's get that prophecy, so I covered everything pretty much in some, okay, just to give you a wee update. It's on me, to do this, because definitely through the Spirit, I believe in the Lord. Put me to, obviously, he gives us that inspiration, as it says in Job. Job chapter 32 and 8. Okay, the Lord, let me just read it verbatim. It says, but there is a rakha in man, and the inspiration, which the inspiration is the breath of the Almighty, giveth them understanding. Alright, so the Lord gave me, of course, the breath, okay, that the spirit and wisdom, to speak on this, okay. He gave the understanding by Habayan, alright, Tha, Ba, Yan, and you have Ma, which means them. In Hebrew, but for the time being, we'll just keep going. So, the Lord gave all this. It says, great men are not always wise, neither do aged men understand judgment. The aged understand judgment. Yeah, and you have it, of course, in this Latin part, which I'm just going to cover, you have it where a lot of people don't understand the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, what your Lord is actually doing with this whole Brexit. Okay, you have these people who are just literally in utter confusion. They don't know what the actual end game actually will be, what the Lord actually is going to do. Okay, the Lord's going to break up the whole European Union. Okay, they're going to turn on each other. Okay, they're going to burn America, Babylon, with fire. Okay, that's the end game. All right, the end, but you're in the end. All right, let's just go to it. Yeah, this is Daniel 2:41. All right, you start 40, but I'm gonna start here at 41. It says, and where thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, and as the toes were part iron, part strong, right? Part iron and part clay. You have weaker European countries and stronger ones. Okay, Germany, France. Okay, and Germany is the head. It caught me, of course, in the whole European Union. You have, of course, Great Britain. You have go into it. You have France. Okay, you can go on from there. Then you have the weaker nations and stuff, Greece and all of the different countries. Okay, so it's part strong and part weak. All right, and that's why, of course, you have it where Britain want to leave. Okay, they got to pay all these different, you contribute part of their different revenue to the European Union. Okay, and they don't want to do that no more. Okay, they can use that on their own government and building their own government, being sovereign outside of this whole union. All right, it says here, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. All right, let's see. I want to see that word for broken. All right, have the word broken with a bar. It means to break, to be fragile, and it is very fragile. Okay, because once you gonna see when this whole thing break apart, that's gonna damage their economies. Okay, and damage the whole of the global markets. Okay, cause a recession, etc., etc. Okay, we're waiting on a whole crashing from the hills. Okay, hills being governments and such. All right, the stock markets. Okay, they're gonna crash. Okay, economy's gonna crash. There's gonna be a Great Depression. All right, where it's going to be a famine and all of that. There's going to be, because of this whole Brexit thing, you have it where there's going to be possible food shortages, okay, medical shortages, okay. A lot of the different things are going to happen, okay, when this thing go down. Lord willing, a no deal, okay, no deal, and no deal scenario and such. All right, you have it where the different parties, political parties, they're confident in the deal which Boris Johnson has. All right. Let's see. Let's go. I'm gonna go to the book of Sirach, and because we're just, going into choice precepts through the Spirit. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, the King James. Let me pull it up real quick. The book of Sirach in the Apocrypha, part of the original King James Bible, 1611 version. And Sirach, chapter 10. Sirach chapter 10. Let's go to it. And it says, all right, so I'm gonna skip around. I'm gonna start at the top and then go to where the other quadrium precepts. It says here, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. You don't see that, I thought, within the UK government. Then these Edomites government, it's a bunch of confusion. As it says, a kingdom divided, and a kingdom that is divided, it can't stand. A house divided can't stand. All right, it's gonna be brought to desolation. It says, as a judge of the people is himself, so is his officers. In a matter of a man, the ruler of the city is. Such are all they that dwell therein. People are in a confused state, as you can see. All right, just as even these prime ministers are. All right, it says, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Yeah, you have it that this, actual unwise I'm malak, all right, or la'ah, meaning no, chakama, or you can really, when you do it, malak, la'ah, kwana. The king, I'm gonna say the king, ha malak, kwana, la'ah, or la'ah, kwana, meaning la'ah, meaning no, kwana is God or possess, chakama, which is wisdom, all right, or wise chakam, all right. But he destroyed his people. I'm his people, okay. But yeah, and it says, but to do the prudence, all right, the actual wisdom of them which are in authority, a city shall be inhabited. Okay, it says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it to one that's profitable. You're gonna give it to Yahweh Shai, and of course under the rest of the house of David. All right, Dawadah 12 on down. Okay, it says, and the Lord's gonna bring it down. All right, through of course his son Yahweh Shai, that stone. Israelites, all right, people before they were replaced. All 12 tribes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Americans, and those Israelite foreigners as well, okay? Because remember, the Israelite foreigners are a part of that election, okay? Maybe looking like the heathen, but are what actually going back, by the way, their father back to the Israelite, and that's the term of the Spirit, okay? Which shall never hold their peace day nor night, ye that make mention of Yahweh keep not silence. It says, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem or Jerusalem a praise, which city of peace, it means in Hebrew, a praise in the earth. You know, so we have to proclaim this truth. We gotta, do this until we can't do it anymore, or until, of course, we're withdrawing. Okay, we have to wake up, and the elect will know about these prophecies, and will take heed to the word, to the warning. Okay, we're the watchmen. We prophesy against many great kingdoms, and dominions and such. All right, so we have to keep watching a bit with these actual prophecies that are occurring. The Brexit, all the different wars and rumors of wars and such. It's all important. So with that, hopefully you're edified. Call Allah Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. All praise to our prayer. Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai Bashim Kakodesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles like Great Millstone who were well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Achim wa Achwathim. Sisters and brothers and sisters. Wa the Bunyam. We children, such. And are, of course, destined to be saved. Okay, delivered to this place. Okay, out the hand of their oppressors, which is Esau, Edom, the wicked. That I'm gonna say shalom to the next time.